Hi, my name is Michael Gilfix of Gilfix and Lipole Associates. I'd like to address some of the most important points we can make with regard to special needs planning and special needs trusts. If you have a disabled child or another close family member who's disabled, this is a topic of incredible importance to you. A special needs trust is a necessary ingredient in your estate plan to take care of the person who is disabled. Disability in this context, by the way, means that the person is not able to work, not able to maintain employment. It's not a matter of a diagnosis automatically mean that that doesn't automatically mean that the person is disabled. So again, the focus is on whether or not the individual can maintain substantial gainful employment. If not, assuming they qualify in terms of assets, that individual will qualify for a number of very important government programs. The most significant are, there's an income program called SSI, it stands for Supplemental Security Income. It guarantees a minimum monthly income of around $850 in California. There's also the State Medi-Cal program, which is a comprehensive, if somewhat imperfect, health care insurance program for an individual who is disabled and qualifies. So the concern that we often have is well, how is that person going to get along and have quality of care, have a quality life? How can they maximize their capabilities? Government programs are inadequate. $850 a month in SSI just isn't enough to live on anywhere, let alone the Bay Area. So there is a need for supplemental help, and that's where the Special Needs Trust comes into it. Any amount of money can be given to or left in a special needs trust for a person who qualifies for government benefits, and it will not interfere with eligibility for those programs. So while a person can't have more than $2,000, if they're going to qualify for SSI and Medi-Cal, that's how are they going to get along? So there can be, again, any amount of money in a special needs trust to pay for items and services that are not provided adequately or perhaps at all from these government programs. So they work together, they complement each other. And the vision is that the Special Needs Trust provides a lifelong safety net for the benefit of your disabled child or other family member or loved one. On the question of how much money you should leave to a special needs trust or perhaps give to a special needs trust during your lifetime, there's no one answer. We do want to make sure that it can be significantly funded, and then it's very individualized to see what that means. You cannot rely on these government programs being solvent and being adequate as we look to the future. So again, the money in the trust, which will not interfere with eligibility, is there to pay for items and services that are not adequately provided by these government programs. So we talk about how much might logically go into such a trust. Another very important topic for you to think about is who's going to be the trustee of that trust. The trustee is going to manage the assets, invest the assets, and decide how to use them for the benefit of the beneficiary, again, your loved one who is disabled. Very challenging question. Often it's a 15 to 45-minute discussion to just think about which family member, which friend, maybe a professional, how do you deal with this question of choosing a trustee? It's a challenge very often. So setting up a special needs trust and a necessary ingredient in your estate plan is an essential ingredient. It's something we can counsel you about, we can draft. And by the way, special needs trusts are not one size fits all. Everybody's different. There's multiple issues to think about and think through. We have been doing special needs trusts since the mid-1980s. I dealt with the issues starting even 10 years before that when I ran a legal services program called the Disability Law Center in Santa Clara County. That was before special needs trusts were ever heard of, but I've watched with and worked with the evolution of these trusts for like 35 years. I mean, it's an amazing amount of experience that I can bring to this work, and the attorneys in our office are absolutely devoted to this work. We are nationally known experts. Our trusts have never failed, and we have done hundreds of them. So I assure you, the advice you get, the counseling you receive will be up to date. The trust that we prepare will be adequate and will be appropriate for your family member. So again, I am pleased that you're viewing this. We welcome you and look forward to meeting with you and talking with you about this very special issue. Thank you.